We bring you the lunch edition of MBC News with me, Obile Kaisa. Coming up, President Mutharika says his administration remains deeply committed to delivering essential development to benefit every constituency in the country. Government assures Malawians of steady fuel supply across the country by next week, Tuesday. And Solom says it is ready to host the FDH Bank Premiership opener at Kamuzu Stadium in Blantyre tomorrow. And now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika says his administration remains deeply committed to delivering essential development to benefit every constituency in the country. President Mutharika made the remarks when he met the mayor of Blantyre City, His Worship Councillor Isaac Jomo Osman, at Sanjika Palace in Blantyre. Details in this report.
President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika says the meeting with the Blantyre City Mayor discussed how the central government and the City Council could work together to restore the glory of the country's cities, including the commercial city of Blantyre. The meeting also discussed the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, and how it can be utilized to improve sanitation and road infrastructure, specifically rehabilitating the Kameza-Chireka Road. The Malawi leader furthermore reiterated his administration's commitment to delivering essential development, saying this is why his government has allocated 5 billion kwacha for development, benefiting every constituency in the country.
Meanwhile, President Mutharika has awarded 2 outstanding ICT innovators for their exceptional contributions to promoting inclusive education and strengthening secondary school learning resources. Minister of Information and Digitalization, Shadrack Namalomba, says the President remains committed to driving digital transformation and encouraging homegrown solutions to challenges affecting communities across different sectors while advancing the digital economy. Emmanuel Chikonso reports.
Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Shadrack Namalomba, says President Mutharika fully supports innovation, describing it as the path Malawi must take to solve its own challenges through local talent and expertise. Namalomba says the message is consistent from the President to Cabinet Ministers and other stakeholders that innovation is key to unlocking economic growth, especially at a time when reliance on agriculture alone as a source of foreign exchange is gradually declining.
Imagine the future of tomorrow. Yes, we have had tobacco to rely on, tea to rely on, but these products, have they changed our fortune? The answer would be yes, but also maybe no. And going into the future, do you think that we can still rely on them? No. The future is technology. The future is innovation.
Speaking after presenting the awards to 2 top innovators selected from 20 finalists honored during the 2026 National ICT Innovations Awards, Macra Director General Mayami Konkoloma emphasized the need for an intersectoral task force to track, nurture, and support innovations so that they do not fade away.
We are looking at a cross-cutting stakeholder kind of framework whereby we have key experts in each and every important sector of the innovation ecosystem, so that these experts, these innovators that we have unveiled today, their innovations can go beyond borders, not only Malawi, but beyond.
The winning innovators, who will represent Malawi at international level, encouraged young people to rise up and use ICT innovation to create meaningful change.
Let's keep on doing these things. Let's channel our energy into things that are more productive.
I am proud that even Macra was able to honor a localized innovation that is going to not only empower Malawians, but other countries as well can be able to adopt it.
This is also an opportunity, and it also empower other people in communities that it's also their, they can also do something to solve the challenges that the communities encounter.
Out of 260 entries submitted, 20 innovations were recognized for being scalable, accessible, inclusive, and tailored, among others, to addressing Malawi's challenges. The innovations span sectors such as education, agriculture, climate change, and technological advancement. Emmanuel Chikonso, MBC News, Lilongwe.
As Malawi pushes towards eliminating neglected tropical diseases by 2030, new findings show the country making steady progress in some areas while facing renewed challenges in others, particularly in lakeshore districts where infections remain high. With over 1 billion people still affected globally, health authorities say targeted action is now more critical than ever. McDonald Chiwayula reports.
The Ministry of Health and Sanitation pledged to eliminate neglected tropical diseases, including bilharzia and intestinal worms, following the release of new nationwide research findings in Salima. Principal Secretary of Administration in the Ministry of Health, Beston Isamire, said the study will help authorities direct interventions to the most affected areas.
These results, they inform us in terms of decision making. Where should we target most? Because it's not the challenge is not across all the districts in Malawi, but it will inform us in terms of where we need to target our approaches and have proper strategies to manage. The results will actually inform us what to target. So what it means is that in those high-risk areas, government will provide the necessary equipment that should be used to diagnose and also provide the adequate medical supplies. All these diseases, there is no vaccine, and what is being used are the drugs.
Study conducted in 2025 with support from Unlimited Health and partners including the World Health Organization and the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine shows significant progress in reducing intestinal worms. However, cases of schistosomiasis, commonly known as bilharzia, are rising partly due to climate-related flooding. Director of Research and Innovation at Unlimited Health, Fiona Fleming, said Malawi is edging closer to eliminating some infections.
For soil-transmitted helminths, they are very low, and the Ministry of Health is progressing towards elimination as a public health problem of soil-transmitted helminths. And for Schistosoma mansoni, which is the intestinal form of schistosomiasis, prevalence is very low and there's been big impact. For hematobium, Schistosoma hematobium, which is the urogenital form, that also female genital schistosomiasis is a condition of this, there has been increase in prevalence, likely due to the floods and the cyclones that have been happening due to climate change in Malawi. And so there's going to have to be some further work by the Ministry of Health thinking about how to mitigate these.
In Malawi, bilharzia remains highly localized with prevalence ranging from about 1% to over 25% in some districts. In lakeshore communities, infection rates can exceed 40% despite ongoing treatment programs. Globally, the World Health Organization estimated that more than 1 billion people are still affected by neglected tropical diseases, although dozens of countries have eliminated at least one. Program Manager for bilharzia and intestinal worms, Michael Ruhanga, said sustained efforts such as mass drug administration remain key.
All the local leaders should be aware that we are in this phase of wanting to eliminate the two. So how do we progress to that level is actually by joining hands. And also as a program, we have our colleagues from other sectors, the Ministry of Agriculture, where also the issue of bilharzia and cattle prevails. So it's a question of One Health, all of us working jointly to make sure that by the end of the day, we have eliminated these two conditions as diseases of public health concern in Malawi.
Malawi now aims to reduce severe bilharzia infections to below 1% and intestinal worms to below 2%, marking a significant step towards eliminating these diseases as a public health threat. McDonald Chiwayula, MBC News, Salima.
Minister of Energy and Mining, Jean Matanga, has assured Malawians that government is taking decisive steps to address the current fuel supply challenges, citing improved access to foreign exchange and progress in settling outstanding debts with fuel suppliers. Addressing journalists in Blantyre, Matanga, who was accompanied by Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Shadrack Namalomba, said government has secured significant volumes of both diesel and petrol, with over 200 fuel tankers already in transit into the country. According to the minister, the situation will begin to stabilize by Tuesday next week. Our reporter Chisomo Break was there and has joined us in the studio. Hello, Chisomo.
Hello, Opile. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
So briefly tell us, what were the main highlights at the presser?
All right. We all know that fuel has become a sought after country for the past few weeks, particularly last week and this week. So the Ministry of Energy and Information thought it wise to address the nation on this important national matter on what government is doing to address the situation. So addressing the media in Blantyre, Minister of Energy, Jean Matanga, said the situation is under control. Government is controlling the situation. And one of the key issues that has been affecting the situation is the lack of forex. As a country, we do not have enough forex. So this has also exacerbated the situation on top of the issue of the war between Iran and America and Israel. Yeah, so currently, according to the minister, government has made significant progress in this issue. Now, as we are talking, over 200 trucks are in transit from the ports of Tanzania and Mozambique. So anytime soon they'll be arriving in the country to supply in all the districts across the country. So the minister is expecting a fuel situation to normalize by next week, noting that every filling station will have fuel in our country, both diesel and also petrol. So the situation is under control, and also she was accompanied by the officials from Nokma and Mera, who are also on the ground with inspections, because apart from fuel scarcity, there are issues like malpractices, like hoarding of the fuel, and of course corruption. There are some filling stations where when people arrive to just fuel their vehicles, they can't do that without even paying something,
money,
and there are filling stations who are holding the fuel. They are holding the strategic commodity now at a time when people want it. So the officials from Mera are on the ground with inspections. They have intensified inspections to make sure that people are able to access the fuel, because they just have to pay. You don't have to negotiate when you arrive at a pump. You don't have to negotiate. You don't have to pay somebody to give you fuel, because it's not for free. You have to. You are paying. You're buying. It's your money. You're buying. So they are also intensifying those inspections. Of interest was also the issue of load shedding. You know, we've been facing persistent load shedding in this country. So the Minister of Energy has also assured people that the situation is under control, but she said that this has also been exacerbated by lack of maintenance and urging infrastructure, because she said that in the past 5 years, the past government did not pay attention to issues of maintenance. They did not maintain machines in all the hydropower stations that we have. So now government Malawians are facing this issue because of lack of maintenance. And of course, she also mentioned that she believes there are some people who are sabotaging the system at ESCOM and Ijenko. So she has warned that those who will be found indulging in this malpractice will be dealt with. And she sent a very passionate warning to those people who are perpetrators of this issue, because there was a question like, is it only when DPP is in government then we start experiencing power outages? So she said, no, not necessarily so, but she believes that there's sabotage. So there's sabotage, and of course with aging infrastructure and lack of maintenance. And of course she also mentioned that the previous government did not buy spares because they're supposed to have a backup, you know. So when there's a system shut down, they just have to replace with new spares.
Yes.
But that did not happen. But the procurement processes were done, but the actual spares did not arrive at ESCOM and Ijenko. So these are issues that are also compounding the situation, making it very difficult for Ijenko to generate electricity and for, you know, ESCOM to distribute electricity. And also she made mention of vandalism, that people are vandalizing ESCOM property. You know, people are stealing transformers, and they say to replace even a transformer is very it's a lot of money.
It is actually issues of vandalism are a very big concern.
Yes, you know. So she mentioned that they have also heightened the security department to make sure that everybody involved in this malpractice is brought to book. So in short, the issue about fuel is under control. As we said earlier on, that fuel is coming in the country, and in the ports of Beira and in Tanzania, there are also vehicles there waiting to also refuel their cars to be coming into the country. And the issue about electricity is also under control. And at the end of the briefing, the Minister of Information also assured Malawians that they should not be worried. The situation is under control, everything will be sorted, and life will be back to normal. So Malawians should just pay attention and also listen to the government, that it is working and make sure that everything is under control, and the situation will be normal, fine, anytime soon.
All right, Zomwe, thank you very much for joining us live this afternoon.
Okay.
This is MBC News with me, Ubile Gaisa. A quick reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika says his administration remains deeply committed to delivering essential development to benefit every constituency in the country. Government assures Malawians of steady fuel supply across the country by next week, Tuesday. And Sulam says it is ready to host the FDH Bank Premiership opener at Kamuzu Stadium in Blantyre tomorrow. Welcome back. Commissioner of Police for the Central West Region, Mavuto Mbobo, has expressed concern over the rise in murder, suicide and mob justice cases in the region. Mbobo made the remarks in Lilongwe during an awareness campaign on the prevention of murder and mob justice held at Mitundu Primary School ground. Stefania Chiteka has compiled this report.
To address the rising cases of murder, suicide and mob justice in some parts of the country, the Malawi Police organized an awareness campaign in Lilongwe to educate communities on the dangers, prevention, and to strengthen cooperation between the police and the public. Commissioner of Police for the Central West Region, Mavuto Mbobo, said they conducted the awareness campaign in Mitundu as it is one of the areas where a high number of such cases has been recorded. Mbobo has urged the Mitundu residents to stop taking the law into their own hands, stressing that mob justice is a criminal offense.
Which is under Central West Region, it has recorded a high number of murder and suicide cases. Amongst the figure of 68, we are reading within the figure. Therefore, it has pleased the Inspector General of the Police to have this meeting here at Mitundu, because Mitundu is one of the highest, has got the highest number of death relating to murder and suicide.
Group Village Headman Mitundu has commended the Malawi Police for the initiative, saying cases of murder, suicide and mob justice are indeed on the rise, with some incidents occurring at night and causing fear among community members. The village headman has since called for continued awareness campaigns, saying they will help reduce crime and encourage people to report cases to the police.
A very good initiative, and we ask our police to be taking this initiative, I think, 3 times annually. That can be good. It will reduce those issues.
The awareness campaign in Lilongwe started with the Whistle Stop meetings at Lilongwe Community Ground, Pwetekele, Kandikole and Waka Waka before proceeding to Mitundu Primary School ground for the main event.
Government is assuring farmers that it is engaging tobacco buyers to understand the basis behind their high rejection rate of the leaf at the auction floors. Minister of Agriculture Rosa Mbilizi gave the assurance during the opening of the Limbi auction floors in Blantyre. Erlin Chimoyo has details in this report.
Since the onset of the marketing season, high volumes of tobacco have been rejected at auction floors, raising concerns among farmers and government authorities. For example, at Limbi, out of 100 bales presented at the open auction, only 3 were purchased. According to the minister, this situation is worrying and requires an urgent solution.
I've assured the farmers that the president and my ministry is working very hard to make sure that all that tobacco is sold. And I've told them that we are a government, and the government will always find a solution. And yes, we are engaging the buyers on a one-to-one basis to find out what is wrong on the market. But at the same time, I should also hasten to say that as much as the farmers are complaining that it's not about the quality, it's not about the grading, I've seen with my own eyes that in certain circumstances the grading is not that good, and that's why I was saying that maybe we need to work very hard in my ministry to make sure that our extension services are up to date.
Commenting on the continued rejections, President of the Tobacco Association of Malawi, Tama Abel Kalimabanda, made a passionate appeal for intervention from government.
On the auction, it's sorry here that the total consignment, only 3 or 4 bales have been bought. This is not good for a farmer because as time goes, the grade might change. Changing of the grade, it means even the price itself also will change. And the loser is a farmer. So it's my prayer to all relevant authorities, including government, to find other means so that the tobacco on auction can be bought.
As the Limbi market opened, a total of 994 bales were brought to the floors, of which over 700 were under contract. Overall, the country has so far generated $2.4 million from 1.1 million kilograms of tobacco since the opening of the marketing season. Elin Chimoyo, NBC News, Blantyre.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has announced plans to construct a 70 billion kwacha Arts and Culture Center aimed at boosting creativity and protecting intellectual property in Malawi. Speaking in Lilongwe during commemorations for World Book and Copyright Day, Minister responsible Alfred Gangata said protecting creative works is vital to human capital development, hence the initiative. From Lilongwe, Emmanuel Chikonso reports.
Gangata said authors, musicians and other creatives continue to drive social progress through their talent and innovation, making it essential to safeguard their work and ensure they are fairly rewarded. The Director of Arts and Culture, Humphrey Mpondaminga, said the ministry has already introduced measures to strengthen copyright protection and secure creative ideas, with the proposed 70 billion kwacha Arts and Culture Center among the key initiatives.
We have a proposed infrastructure project, that's the National Arts and Culture Center, which will see construction of 4 national facilities, including a national theatre and a national school for arts. This year, we are about to advertise it so that we get consultants to do the designs. And we look forward that once it's done, like the PS has said, we will have better facilities to showcase the arts and culture.
Copyright Society of Malawi Kosoma Executive Director Dora Makwinja said the organization is intensifying awareness campaigns to help creatives understand how to protect their works and benefit from their ideas.
So we have many other activities that we intend to reach out to the general public. So a number of programs will be carried out in this financial year, and you will see all of them aimed at raising awareness of copyright, but also for the rights holders, the people that create the copyright works should know the importance of what they do.
This year's World Book and Copyright Day celebrations attracted authors, musicians, and other players in the creative industry and started with a road show from Lilongwe Community Ground to Civil Stadium. Emmanuel Chikonso, NBC News, Lilongwe.
And Now moving on to sports, the Super League of Malawi Sulum says it will go ahead with hosting the FDH Bank Premiership opener at Kamuzu Stadium despite the Football Association of Malawi FAM declining to approve the facility. The opening match will see Mighty Wanderers face Karonga United. Pres Majawa reports.
Sulum had written FAM on Thursday requesting an inspection of the stadium, but the association says the request was made less than 48 hours before match day, making it impossible to conduct the exercise. FAM previously banned Kamuzu Stadium due to sanitation issues and other concerns. However, a visit to the venue shows that improvement works are underway, including the installation of substitute benches. In a letter signed by FAM General Secretary Abdul Chiwalo, Sulum has been advised to find an alternative venue for the match. FAM has also warned that failure to comply with club licensing requirements will attract penalties. But speaking to MBC, Sulum General Secretary Williams Banda is adamant that the match will still be played at Kamuzu Stadium despite FAM's position.
The match between Mighty Wanderers and the Karonga United has matured, like other games has all matured, and will be set to launch the CAF game at Kamuzu Stadium. According to FIFA, you never reschedule a game less than 48 hours. So this game has matured. So that's their procedure. We don't mind. But I know most of them are in Blantyre. FAM is at a stone away from Kamuzu Stadium. They can go there and check if they are for football development, that is.
The 2026-2027 FDH Bank Premiership kicks off this weekend and is expected to conclude on 27 February next year. Pres Majawa, MBC Sport, Blantyre.
Mighty Wanderers Football Club are confident that their newly landed partnership with King Bossy will hugely benefit both parties. The two parties signed a one-year deal on Thursday worth 200 million kwacha. Norbert Jameson reports.
Speaking during the contract signing ceremony in Blantyre, the club's secretary to the board, Chance Gondwe, assured the motorcycle manufacturers that they will use their fan base to ensure that they reap the fruits of the deal.
They looked at all the football clubs in this country and they settled for Mighty Wanderers. Why they settled for Mighty Wanderers? They know the fan base. We have got a large following, a large fan base as compared to the rest of the football clubs. And they know that they should be able to manipulate, to capitalize on that for their benefit. And you know that most of the people who use kabazas in this country are the youth. And most of the youth are the ones who follow football. And these are the youth that are the at Wanderers. So obviously they are going to benefit, and we are also going to benefit.
King Boss Chief Executive Officer Cesar Ngomero said they settled for Wanderers to help them grow on the local market.
It's mighty, and we also want to be mighty here in Malawi. That's the big reason. We see the commitment, we see the perseverance of the players, of the team as a whole, so we see some seriousness there. So we also want to grow and succeed in the Malawian market. So that's why we chose Mighty Wanderers.
Among the benefits from the package, Wanderers will get a branded minibus to enhance their commercialization activities, receive laptops, as well as 4 King Boss motorcycles for promotional purposes. Norbert Jameson, MBC Sport.
Well, that item also concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. President Mutharika says his administration remains deeply committed to delivering essential development to benefit every constituency in the country. Government assures Malawians of steady fuel supply across the country by next week, Tuesday. And Sulum says it is ready to host the FDH Bank Premiership opener at Kamuzu Stadium in Blantyre tomorrow. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Opile Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.
Mbola.
malonje kuyambira lolemba lino ndi lolemba lililonse 6:30